You're floating in your mother's womb with tiny razor teeth already formed, and you're about to use them. Around you, dozens of unfertilized eggs drift like a floating buffet. Welcome to life as a basking shark. You sink those needle-sharp teeth into egg after egg, slurping down what could have been your brothers and sisters. Your mother has been pregnant longer than most animals even live, and the whole time you've been cannibalizing your way to survival. Whoosh, you're suddenly expelled into the open ocean, 6 feet long and completely alone. You're already bigger than a full-grown bull shark, larger than most sharks will ever get in their entire lives. Your mother takes one look at you and immediately swims away. Your massive newborn body is already demanding food. You open your cavernous mouth, a gaping tunnel that could swallow a beach ball, and start swimming forward. Water rushes in like you're a living vacuum cleaner, and tiny creatures get swept inside. You snap your mouth shut and swallow the whole collection. But it's not nearly enough. You need to keep this filter-feeding marathon going constantly just to survive. You're cruising along when suddenly you bump into something rough and barnacle-covered. You've accidentally collided with a young humpback whale, about the size of a school bus and definitely not happy about being disturbed. The whale jolts awake and immediately sweeps its massive tail in panic, trying to get away from whatever just hit it. Wham! The tail slams into you, creating a violent whirlpool of water that throws you into an underwater tornado, spinning helplessly as the pressure wave launches you deep into the darker waters below. Heart racing, you dive deeper to escape the whale's territory, but all that panic has made you even hungrier, your stomach practically eating itself. That's when you spot them, a massive school of sardines moving like a silver cloud through the water. Without thinking, you charge forward with your mouth wide open. The sardines scatter, but you're basically a swimming net. Dozens of them get swept into your cavernous mouth as you barrel through their formation. You snap your jaws shut and swallow, finally getting a decent meal. This becomes your routine for the next several months. Open mouth and hope something edible flows in. Run from anything big enough to eat you. After nearly a year of this, you've grown to almost 8 feet long. You're no longer a helpless newborn, but you're still far from safe. And there's something weird happening to your face. Your snout is stretching out into this ridiculous pointed hook that makes you look like a swimming can opener. This elongated beak is supposed to help you filter feed more efficiently. Other fish stare at your bizarre face as you cruise by, and you're stuck with this embarrassing look for your entire childhood, which is going to last over a decade. That's right, while other sharks mature in a few years, you won't be considered an adult until you're 12 to 16 years old. You've learned to stick with other juvenile basking sharks who look just as weird as you do. It's like a support group for freaky-faced filter feeders. Together you cruise through the deeper waters, trying to stay off everyone's radar while you slowly, painfully grow. You're swimming peacefully with your fellow weirdos when suddenly the water around you explodes with speed. A massive great white shark bursts through your group like a missile, its jaws targeting your friends swimming beside you. You watch in horror as those serrated teeth clamp down, and in seconds your companion disappears in a cloud of blood. The great white turns its black eyes toward you, clearly not satisfied with just one meal. You panic, spinning away as fast as your awkward body allows. The predator follows, its powerful tail propelling it forward like a torpedo. You're pumping your tail frantically, but you can feel those jaws getting closer. In desperation, you dive toward a thick kelp forest, hoping the tangled vegetation will slow down your pursuer. You weave between the towering kelp stalks, your pointed snout helping you navigate the tight spaces. The great white tries to follow, but gets momentarily confused by the swaying plants. You don't stop swimming until you're miles away, your heart still pounding. Another close call. After a few hours, you're not hungry, and you might think that being a shark means you'd start hunting like others. Wrong. You're still just a swimming vacuum cleaner, but now your feeding schedule gets even weirder. During the day, you float at the surface like a lazy log, mouth agape, filtering the warm water where plankton love to hang out. This is where you get your name, Basking Shark, because you spend so much time lazily sunbathing while eating. But when night falls, everything changes. The plankton starts sinking deeper, so you have to follow them down, diving hundreds of meters into the cold, dark depths. Up and down, up and down. Your daily routine is like being stuck on the world's most boring elevator, except you're constantly eating microscopic snacks. Almost 11 years. By the time you're finally approaching adult size, your weird pointed snout has slowly reshaped into something more normal looking. But ahead of you lies an even bigger challenge. At 16 years old, you've finally reached sexual maturity. You're now a massive 25-foot living bus weighing over 4 tons, and your brain has remained embarrassingly tiny. You officially have the worst brain-to-body ratio of any shark. Congratulations, you're now a giant idiot cruising the oceans with your mouth permanently open. Your size means almost nothing can eat you anymore, but it also means you need absolutely massive amounts of food. You're now filtering over 2,000 tons of water every hour just to catch enough microscopic creatures to keep your enormous body running. It's like trying to feed an elephant with tweezers. Technically possible, but exhaustingly inefficient. Spring arrives and suddenly your simple life of swim and eat gets complicated by hormones. The urge to mate hits you like a freight train. But here's the problem. Finding another basking shark in the vast ocean is like trying to find a specific grain of sand on a beach. Your species is scattered across thousands of miles of open water, and you might cruise for months without seeing another one of your kind. You've been cruising for almost 3.5 months. When you finally spot another basking shark in the distance, your heart races with excitement. But as you get closer, you realize it's a male, just as desperate and lonely as you are. You both circle each other awkwardly for a few minutes, and back to the endless search. Weeks pass before you encounter another basking shark, and this time it's a female. She's even bigger than you, nearly 30 feet of filter-feeding magnificence. But here's where things get really weird. Basking shark courtship isn't exactly romantic. There's no elaborate dance, no showing off your best filtering technique. You simply swim up to her and bite her fin. Gently, but still, your idea of flirting is basically a love nibble. She doesn't swim away, which in basking shark language means, sure, why not? What follows is the most awkward mating process in the ocean. Two massive, clumsy sharks trying to line up properly while maintaining forward momentum because, remember, you both need to keep swimming to breathe. The actual mating lasts maybe 30 seconds. No romantic sunset, no cuddling afterward. She immediately swims away and you do the same. You'll probably never see her again. But here's the real kicker. If that brief encounter actually results in pregnancy, she'll be carrying those babies for over 3 years. 3 years. Actually, let's switch perspectives here. Your story as a male basking shark is pretty much over. You'll just keep filter feeding until something kills you. But her story? That's where things get really brutal. You are now the pregnant female, and congratulations, you've just signed up for the worst pregnancy in the ocean. Those fertilized eggs inside you are going to take over 3 years to develop, making you the longest pregnant vertebrate on Earth. 3 years of carrying around developing babies while trying to filter enough food for both yourself and them. At first, it's not so bad. You can still swim normally, still feed efficiently, but as months turn into years, you start feeling the changes. Your body grows heavier, more sluggish. What used to be effortless gliding through the water becomes a laborious struggle. You're basically a 30-foot pregnant submarine trying to catch microscopic food. By year 2, you can feel them moving inside you. 6 little sharks with tiny teeth, already practicing their cannibalistic skills by eating unfertilized eggs. They're growing bigger, and you're growing more exhausted. Every movement takes more effort. Your once graceful swimming has become an awkward waddle through the water. So you decide to move to the surface for easier breathing, cruising on the surface with your enormous pregnant frame breaking through the water. Suddenly, a massive boat slams into you. Your lethargic and slow brain wasn't able to process it and notice it. In just a few seconds, your huge lumpy body is thrust and red stuff is scattered all over the ocean surface. At this point, you cannot feel anything, but the impact made your belly burst and your babies have been born. This was the end of your life, but a lot of new lives started.